In old age, stop being a servant to your children and start living for yourself. Lillian, 72, spent decades putting her children first, cooking, cleaning, babysitting, never asking for anything in return. Her dreams set aside, her needs an afterthought. Then, one evening, as she set the table for yet another family dinner, she overheard a casual remark that pierced her heart. "Mum will always be there. She has nothing else to do." In that moment, everything changed. She realized she wasn't just a mother. She was a person too. But had she waited too long to start living for herself? If you've ever felt like Lillian, trapped in the role of an unpaid servant to your family, this video is for you. It's time to take back your life. Hit like if you agree and keep watching, because your happiness matters. Lillian isn't alone. Across the world, countless seniors dedicate their lives to their children, believing it's their duty. They give their time, energy and resources, often without question. But here's the hard truth. When you give endlessly, people start expecting it. At first it feels like love. You're needed, you're important, but over time the appreciation fades. What was once kindness becomes an unspoken obligation. Your time is no longer yours, it belongs to whoever needs it. And the more you give, the less they notice. The harsh reality: if you're always available, people assume you always will be. That's why so many seniors feel invisible, not because they aren't valuable, but because they've made themselves too accessible. Ask yourself, when was the last time your family truly considered your needs? When was the last time someone asked what you wanted instead of assuming you'd be there for them? If this hits home, hit like. It's time for a wake-up call. Subscribe if you believe it's time to reclaim your life. The unseen toll. What no one tells you. Lillian spent years believing that giving more meant loving more. But what she didn't realize was that every yes she said to others was honor to herself. And she's not alone. Studies show that seniors who constantly prioritize their children over themselves face higher rates of stress, anxiety, and even physical exhaustion. The emotional weight of always being available, always being the helper, drains energy in ways most people don't acknowledge. It's not just about the tasks, it's the constant expectation. At first, your children appreciate it. They thank you for watching the grandkids, running errands, or making meals. But over time, something shifts. What was once a kind favor becomes an unspoken obligation. Instead of gratitude, there's assumption. Instead of appreciation, there's expectation. And before you know it, you're no longer a person with your own needs. You're a service. This isn't because your children are unkind. It's because, without boundaries, people naturally take more than they realize. If you always say yes, they assume you always will. Not out of malice, but out of habit. And the longer it continues, the harder it is to break free. The worst part? Many seniors secretly resent their situation, but they feel guilty for wanting something different. They tell themselves, they need me. What else would I do? If I stop helping, will they think I don't love them? I don't want to be selfish, but here's the truth. Self-care isn't selfish. It's survival. Neglecting yourself doesn't make you a better parent or grandparent. It only makes you a shadow of who you used to be. Take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you did something just for you? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. Comment below, have you ever felt like you've lost yourself in the role of always helping others? The turning point, Lillian's silent stand. Lillian had spent her entire life putting her children first, always available, always saying yes. But that night, after overhearing those painful words, Mum will always be there. She has nothing else to do. Something inside her shifted. She didn't argue, she didn't demand respect, she simply made a choice. That week, when her daughter called asking her to babysit last minute, she calmly replied, "I can't tonight, I have plans." For the first time in years, she said no. And the world didn't end. Her children were surprised, confused. They assumed she'd always be there, just like before. But Lillian was no longer living on their schedule. She was reclaiming her own. She signed up for a senior travel group, something she'd secretly dreamed of for years. She visited places she thought she'd never see, small coastal towns, vibrant art museums, the countryside she had long admired in postcards. And then she picked up a brush. Painting had once been her passion, a dream she had let slip away. She started small, painting for herself, just to feel that joy again. But soon people noticed. A friend encouraged her to sell her work at a local market. To her surprise, her art sold. She turned her passion into a side income, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. At first, her children didn't know what to make of this new version of their mother. She wasn't always available. She had plans, she had a life. But something incredible happened. Instead of pulling away, they started appreciating her more. They stopped assuming she'd drop everything for them. They called to check in on her, not just to ask for favours. They saw her as a person, not just a parent. Lillian didn't need to demand respect. She simply started respecting herself first. Have you ever struggled to say no? Comment below. What's one thing you've always wanted to do for yourself? If Lillian can do it, so can you. Here's how to set boundaries and start living for yourself. Say no without guilt. Your time is yours. Lillian's first act of independence wasn't a grand gesture. It was a simple, quiet no. For years, she had said yes to everything. Yes to babysitting at the last minute, yes to running errands, yes to cancelling her own plans when someone needed her. She thought it was love, but in reality, it was exhaustion. The first time she refused, it felt unnatural. When her daughter asked her to watch the grandkids, she hesitated. Then, instead of her usual yes, she said, "I can't today. I have plans." Her daughter was surprised, confused, but the world didn't fall apart. This is what most seniors don't realise. Saying no doesn't mean you love your family any less. It means you love yourself too. But breaking the habit takes practice. If you've spent years always being available, setting boundaries will feel uncomfortable at first. Start small. The next time someone asks you to do something you don't want to, try, "I'm not available today." No explanation needed. "I have other plans." Even if that plan is simply resting. "I love to help, but I need to take care of myself first." Watch what happens. Your relationships won't fall apart. Your children won't love you any less. In fact, they might respect you more, just like Lillian's children did. Because when you respect your own time, others will too. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you said no without feeling guilty? Comment below. What's one situation where you wish you had set a boundary? Revive old passions. What did you love before life got in the way? It's time to do it again. Lillian used to dance, not for an audience, not for praise, just for herself. Before life got busy, before the endless responsibilities, before she became mum and grandma, she would lose herself in the rhythm of a song. Whether it was twirling in her bedroom as a teenager or swaying to music in the kitchen, dancing made her feel free. Then, life happened. The music faded. Years passed, and one day she realized she couldn't remember the last time she danced. But when she started reclaiming her life, something inside her said, "Why not?" At first she felt silly. She was 72. Wasn't she too old for this? But the moment she put on her favorite song and moved even just a little, she felt alive again. This is what happens when you reconnect with something you once loved. It reminds you of who you were before life got in the way. Think back. What lit you up before you became the responsible one? Maybe it was gardening, writing, painting, or playing an instrument. Maybe it was something as simple as singing in the car with the windows down. The best part? You don't have to be good at it. Lillian wasn't dancing to impress anyone. She was doing it for herself. And the more she danced, the more confident she felt. Not just in movement, but in life. So what's your dancing moment? What's the thing you set aside for others that you can now reclaim for yourself? Think about it. Then, take one small step today to bring it back into your life. What's something you once loved but stopped doing? Comment below, I'd love to hear. Love. Make new social circles. Join clubs, groups, or activities that excite you. Lillian always thought her social life revolved around her family. She spent years prioritizing their needs, believing they were enough. But once she started reclaiming her time, she realized something. She was lonely. Her children had their own lives. Friends from the past had drifted away. And while she loved her family, she needed something more. People who shared her interests, her excitement for life. So she did something she never thought she would. She joined a local dance class. At first, she felt out of place. She was the oldest one there, but then something incredible happened. She made friends. Other women who, just like her, had put their own happiness on hold for too long. They laughed together, learned together, and suddenly she wasn't just a mother or grandmother, she was Lillian again. Here's what most people don't realize. Social circles aren't just about company, they're about identity. Studies show that seniors who actively engage in social groups experience lower stress and depression, better cognitive function, and a stronger sense of purpose. And it doesn't have to be dancing. There are endless ways to build new connections. Join a book club if you love stories, try a fitness or yoga class if you want to stay active, volunteer if you want to give back while meeting like-minded people, or take a course to learn something new and meet people who share your interests. It's never too late to build friendships that energize you. Your best social years aren't behind you, they're ahead. Have you ever joined a new group later in life? Comment below what's an activity you'd love to try. Prioritize self-care. Your happiness isn't selfish, it's necessary. For years, Lillian believed that taking care of herself was a luxury, something she'd get to if there was time left over. But there was never time. She woke up thinking about what needed to be done for others. She made sure everyone else was comfortable, fed and happy, yet she rarely stopped to ask, "Am I?" It wasn't until she started saying no, dancing again, and meeting new people that she realized something life-changing. Self-care isn't selfish. It's survival. Many seniors spend their entire lives giving, believing that their worth comes from what they do for others. But here's the hard truth. When you constantly pour into everyone else's cup and never refill your own, you run empty. And when that happens, burnout sets in, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Neglecting yourself doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your health. Studies show that seniors who prioritize self-care experience lower stress and anxiety, better sleep and energy levels, stronger emotional well-being, and improved heart health and immune function. But self-care isn't just about bubble baths or vacations, it's about giving yourself permission to matter. Physically, it means eating well, staying active, and allowing yourself to rest without guilt. Emotionally, it means protecting your peace, limiting toxic relationships, and focusing on what brings you joy. Mentally, it means feeding your mind, reading, learning, and staying curious about life. Lillian's turning point came when she realized this. If she didn't take care of herself, no one else would. So she made self-care a daily practice, not an afterthought. She scheduled time for hobbies, set boundaries, and even treated herself with the same kindness she had always given others. And instead of guilt, she felt freedom. Which of these steps feels most important to you? Comment below. I'd love to hear. Lillian, once a silent servant to the needs of others, became an independent woman embracing her golden years. She no longer felt like an afterthought, she felt alive. For decades she believed love meant sacrifice. She thought saying yes was the only way to show she cared. But in the process, she lost herself. Her happiness had always been secondary, until she decided it wouldn't be anymore. At first, her changes were met with resistance. Her children were surprised. They didn't understand why she was suddenly unavailable at all hours, why she was spending time with new friends, why she had boundaries now. But over time, something remarkable happened. They adjusted. And more than that, they started appreciating her more. Instead of expecting her presence, they valued it. Instead of assuming she had nothing else to do, they respected the life she was building for herself. Lillian no longer felt drained by expectations. She was no longer just the person who made things easier for everyone else. She was a woman with dreams, passions, and a life of her own. And the best part, she was happy. This is the truth many seniors never hear. It's never too late to reclaim your life. Maybe you've spent years putting others first. Maybe you've told yourself that it's too late to change. But here's the reality. Every single day is a chance to start living for yourself. You don't have to wait for permission. You can set boundaries. You can rediscover joy. You can be valued for who you are, not just what you do for others. If Lillian could do it, so can you. Subscribe for more empowering advice. Share this video with a fellow senior who needs it, and remember, your happiness matters.